So unlike a lot of the people here, I didn't know Aaron. I never met him, didn't speak to him on the phone, never even got to exchange email with him, which ironically is why I'm here. The fact that I didn't know him is the reason why I was going to be the person that was put forth to objectively explain to the jury of what Aaron did. And I think I was able to hold on to that objectivity until the last week and a half. And per Taryn's comments, I've perhaps become much more radical than I was before, which you can tell because I'm wearing my radical tie today. But, you know, what we were going to do is I was objectively going to go in front of that jury and explain to them that these horrible hacking crimes that Aaron was accused of is functionally the same as putting the incorrect email address to an airport Wi-Fi or going down the street to Starbucks to change your IP address. And Dan Purcell was going to get up there and grill the MIT and JSTOR witnesses and talk to them about how this kind of thing happens dozens and dozens of times a year at MIT, and yet Aaron is the first person to ever have the Secret Service get involved. And that JSTOR witness was going to talk about how there wasn't really any damage, we were a little ticked off, but this isn't a big deal for us and we don't want this to happen. And then Elliot Peters was going to get up and give this fiery defense attorney speech, pounding the table and pointing to Boston Harbor and invoking the American Revolution and the spirit of freedom and how Aaron lives up to the greatest ideals in our founding documents. And then Aaron's future was going to be in the hands of 12 normal people. I mean, normal people who couldn't get out of jury duty. But hopefully people who I think would have had the sense to understand that there was a huge chasm between the way Aaron was being portrayed by the government and the young man who was sitting there at that table. And I had faith in them. And we're not going to get that chance to do all those things, and we can't help Aaron anymore. But I think we, and by we I mean everybody who is listening to this, we can help the next Aaron. And we didn't have to wait very long for the next Aaron, right? The next Aaron is the Chinese-American man who is accused of stealing source code from a hedge fund and is being prosecuted under the Espionage Act. The next Aaron is the Canadian student who was expelled from his university for pointing out security flaws to the university in their software that exposed his personal information. The next Aaron is going to be that young lady whose DEF CON speech is interrupted by the clink of handcuffs, or that grandfather who is mystified by the demand for $50,000 to pay for copyright violations because his next-door neighbor uses open Wi-Fi to do a little BitTorrent. Those are the next Aarons, and those are the people we can help. And one of the reasons I think we really need to help him is while I think all of us feel gratified about the outpouring of love and care and the feeling of momentum that has come out of the last week and a half, we also have to be really aware that we want that when people face the same kind of odds that Aaron faced, and many of them without Aaron's resources, that we want them not to think of Aaron's final moments of weakness and doubt to be the kind of thing that they need to do to bring about change, right? And there's two things we need to do for that. One, we need to give those people as much support as Aaron was able to give, right? That those people don't know Larry Lessig. They don't hang out with Harvard law professors and MIT professors, but yet they need the kind of support that Aaron was able to muster. And one of the things I realized through this whole thing is we never considered computer science to be the kind of thing that is a profession that changes lives. And something that this has demonstrated is that being able to make an argument of whether a MAC address is just something that you use to keep collisions from happening on a network and is not equivalent to the serial number on a gun, that making that argument is the kind of thing that can mean spending decades in prison. And there are other professions that are life-changing, medicine and law, and in those professions people have an idea about equal access and helping people, and that doesn't happen in reality, but at least they try, right? There's the idea that everybody has a defense lawyer, there's an idea that you can go and get treated by a doctor and they have an ethical obligation to you, and I think those of us in the computer world need to see via Aaron's tragedy that we have the same kind of obligation. And the second thing we all need to do is when we are up here speaking or we're commenting on Reddit or Hacker News or talking to people about Aaron, while we talk about the positive change that is going to come out of his death, we have to make it clear that all of those positive things pale in comparison to what he would have done had he lived, right? And that's an important part of the message, because we don't want those young people to think that their only way out is to sacrifice themselves, that they deserve to live too, and that they have people who are standing behind them. So, thank you.